Hey guys, tonight's story is a bit darker than usual. There are no glowing candles in castles, just little flickers of fire, the kind that barely hold on, floating in a night that doesn't care if you see where you're going. Forget what Hollywood sold you, the knights, the princesses, the banquets. You won't find them here. What you'll find is a very real year. 1325, and a kind of normal day that might make you wish you hadn't woken up. So before we begin, close your eyes, take one long breath, picture a place where even the air feels like it wants to mess with you. If stories like this help you drift off, leave a comment. Tell me where you're listening from and what time it is where you are. I like knowing who's with us on these quiet little journeys, and from which lonely corners of the world. Now, maybe turn the lights down, switch on a fan, that soft hum in the background, like wind slipping through the cracks of a damp wooden hut. Let me take you somewhere you probably wouldn't choose to stay, but might not forget anytime soon. This isn't a story about glory or kings. It's about people. Just people. Like you. Like me. Thrown into a time when every day was a slow battle, not to win, but just to make it to the next one. Are you ready? Take another breath. The air's about to get a lot heavier. You open your eyes, but darkness doesn't go anywhere. It just sits on your chest like a wet blanket that no one asked for. The straw beneath you rustles, each stalk pushes through the thin fabric like the bristles of a worn-out brush, poking into your back, reminding you that comfort is more of a theory than a fact. Something crawls across your arm, a louse maybe. It bites and leaves behind that special kind of itch that feels like someone stuck a warm needle under your skin. You're 22, but your bones feel like they've been through 40 winters. And sleep, whatever that was, never lasted long enough to matter. You inhale a sharp hit of sour beer from the corner of the room. It blends with the earthy mildew climbing the wooden walls. That smell sticks to you like syrup melted onto a stove and forgotten. Your cousin is snoring again, loud and wet like an old engine gasping for air. You lie still. Moving only makes the straw poke deeper. You just had a dream, one of the rare kind. A dry field, no lords, no chores, just space. But a chicken somewhere far off remembers its job. It crows weakly, and the cold pulls you back like a hand gripping your spine. A faint light slips through the thatch roof. It's just enough to reveal the dust hanging in the air, floating like it has nowhere better to be. Your head feels heavy, like an old friend who never knows when to leave. You scratch your neck. The louse bite is swollen now, it's buzzing beneath the skin, like a tiny party you weren't invited to. Your cousin stops snoring for a beat, then resumes, like the hut itself is exhaling. You close your eyes again. Maybe, just maybe, you can steal back a sliver of that dream. But the cold stretches your skin tight, like it's caught between two blocks of ice. Each breath scorches your nose. You pull the wool blanket tighter around your shoulders. It's heavy, damp with sweat and dust from the winter. It doesn't warm you, it just makes you itch harder, like hugging a pile of dirty laundry. From the corner, wood crackles. Your mother is stoking the fire. She mutters something about you being slow, as if waking up earlier might make the day less miserable. The ache creeps from your back to your legs, a little reminder that today is going to feel exactly like yesterday. You sit up. The straw scrapes your skin with every shift, like your body is quietly protesting. A gust of wind slips through the wooden slats, cutting into you. You shiver, but it doesn't help. You want to lie back down, but the church bell rings in the distance, soft, steady, like it's telling you that the dream is over. You stand, bare feet press into cold dirt, sticky as wet clay. This hut is where every day begins, but it's never really been yours. Your mother looks up, her eyes sharp, tired, and familiar. They tell you without words that staying in bed too long is a kind of sin. And as you step off the straw, you know this hut doesn't belong to you. Not even your mornings do. You step across the sticky dirt floor. Your muddy footprints blend with old streaks of dried chicken droppings. This hut is home, technically, but it belongs to everyone. Your family, the goat, the rats, and the Lord, somewhere outside, who owns it all anyway. From the corner, a child coughs. It's weak but sharp, like someone slicing the silence with a dull knife. The air feels tight, as if you've been locked in a wooden box that no one plans to open. Your mother is by the fire. She stirs the damp logs and smoke climbs up in thick, eye-stinging waves. She doesn't yell, just says you should fetch water before the light comes in fully. Her voice is flat, practiced, like a prayer said more out of duty than belief. You shuffle toward the corner where a pile of filthy cloth waits for your sister to turn it into something wearable. The ground is cold beneath your feet, slick like a kitchen floor after a rainstorm. In another corner, the goat is chewing straw, crunching steadily, like it's slowly gnawing through what little piece the hut has left. You catch the faint smell of dung. It blends with old porridge, still clinging to the side of a wooden bowl your mother forgot. You reach for a sweater. It's heavy, frayed, and stiff, but you put it on anyway, knowing it'll itch as soon as it touches your skin. There's nowhere in the hut that's yours. No corner to be alone. Everything is shared. Your sister calls out. Her voice is hoarse. She wants more straw for the goat. You nod, even though your back still aches from the act of waking up. Outside, village children have started screaming, not from pain, just playing. But it doesn't make you smile. It just reminds you that the day has begun, and it will be full of orders and chores. You pass the woodpile near the fire. The smoke kicks into your throat, salty and rough, and you cough. The little one is curled in the corner, watching you with tired eyes, not asking for help, just something quieter than this place will allow. You bend to pick up a stray stalk of straw. It's dry, sharp, scratches your palm like it knows how tired you are. This hut is your whole world, but it feels small, like a trap made of beams and walls and breathing bodies. The smoke grows thicker. You breathe slower so your eyes don't burn. Up near the thatched roof, raindrops still cling to the straw. They glisten faintly in the dim light, like they're pretending to be stars. Your mother mutters louder now. It's a prayer, maybe asking God to warm the hut, but you know better. The cold isn't going anywhere, neither is the closeness. The goat keeps chewing. Its rhythm is steady, like a song with no melody, no words, just chewing. You step toward the door. The dirt grips your feet, like it doesn't want you to leave. Your sister glances over, shakes her head, disappointed with how slowly you're moving, as if you're doing it on purpose. And when you push open the wooden plank, ready to step outside, you already know what waits for you next. The stink of the water bucket and whatever's floating in it today. You push the plank aside and step out behind the hut. The morning cold slaps your face, soft but certain, like a quiet warning you didn't ask for. And there it is, the bucket. Wooden, tilted, full of waste. It doesn't move, but it might as well be waiting for you. The stench hits immediately, heavy, like pond sludge left to cook in the summer heat. You stop breathing. It doesn't help much. Flies buzz around it. A full orchestra, all string section, all playing the same wrong note, just for you. You crouch, reach for a bundle of dry straw nearby. It scrapes your fingers like sharpened paper. The side of the bucket is stained dark, wet in places. You don't want to know what's still moving in there. The smell wraps around your chest like a wet net, tight. You want to leave, but your body insists. You sit down slowly. The rough wood beneath you is damp and cold, like a bench left out after the rain. The rot gets stronger, climbing up your nose until your eyes sting. A fly lands on your hand. You flinch, but don't move again. Each second stretches like the bucket is punishing you for simply being here. You grip the straw tighter. It digs into your palm, sharp and dry, like sanding your own skin. It crumbles. Bits stick to your hand, to your sweat, to the sting. You want to stop, but you can't. Voices drift in from the nearby ditch. Two women washing laundry, talking like they've seen everything and forgotten none of it. Their words slice through the air, and you feel their gaze, even if they don't look. You hunch lower. The burning in your hands is now loud. It feels like fire licking your skin, but quieter. The smell won't leave. It clings to your hair, to your sweater, like a curse you can't wash off. You scrub again. It stings. You want to cry out, but all it would do is prove you're losing. The flies are still here. Still singing, still watching. Every movement stirs the rot, like the bucket wants you to remember exactly what you're doing. You hold your breath again. Your chest burns. Even the air has turned against you. You stand. Lift what needs to be lifted. Dump it into the path out front. It lands with a heavy, shameful thud. A child runs by, yelling "Gardiloo!" like it's a game. It's not. The slop slides down the road. No one dodges, no one cares. You wipe your hand on your shirt. It doesn't help. Now your shirt's part of it. You glance back at the bucket. It's fuller now. It's waiting for you again. Tomorrow, your skin burns red. The straw has left tiny lines like invisible scars. The neighbors' voices haven't stopped. You lower your head a little more. You try breathing through your mouth. The stench finds its way in anyway, like a memory that won't leave. You turn back toward the hut. The cold seeps through your sweater. The flies follow you a little. The smell stays. You rub your hands, hoping the sting will go away. It doesn't. It burns like a badge you didn't want. You stop at the door. Your mother's voice calls from inside. Something about porridge. Her voice is rough, always is. You push the plank open, step back in. The stink walks in with you. She looks at you, sharp, silent, like asking why it took so long, but not really needing the answer. You lower your head, rub your hands again. The shame is familiar, predictable, like sunrise. You glance back through the crack in the wall. The bucket's still there, flies still humming, still waiting. Your skin still stings. The straw left its mark. You breathe, slowly, try to forget, but the smell is already part of you. You move closer to the fire, hope for warmth, hope it'll scrub off the cold, and the stench, it doesn't. The damp wood crackles, you cough again, the smoke bites back. Your mother stirs the porridge. The soft clinks of the spoon call you back to now. You look at the wooden bowl on the table. You know what's in it. And you know that no one's looking forward to it, not even the porridge. You sit by the fire. It gives off just enough warmth to stop your hands from shaking, but not much more. In front of you, a bowl of pottage, greyish, thick, floating bits of turnip, soft and lifeless. It smells like someone's been burning the same pot for a week straight. Your father sits across the table. His eyes are sharp. He doesn't say much, just tells you to eat quickly. The Lord's field waits for no one. You pick up the wooden spoon. It's slick, greasy from yesterday. And the day before. Feels like holding a half-melted popsicle. The smell of the stew climbs into your nose. Bitter, smoky, like someone forgot the fire was on again. You scoop a spoonful. A slice of turnip drifts by. It's the color of regret. From the fire, wood crackles. From the corner, your little sibling coughs again. You taste the stew. It has no flavor, just the vague idea of warmth. Beside your bowl is a piece of barley bread, hard as the stone path behind the hut. You bite. Your tooth protests, sharp and immediate, like it just hit a walnut shell. Your father watches, tells you not to be picky. It's all there is. You chew slowly. Each bite crunches like you're eating dried sand. You reach for your drink. It's small beer. Barely alcoholic, but safer than water. It's sour. It hits the back of your throat like pond water that's been sitting too long. Your mother mutters from the stove about wet wood and thin stew. She's not talking to anyone, just filling the space. You take another sip. Choke down another bite. The bread sticks in your throat like it's trying to stay. The fire wheezes smoke toward your face. You cough. Your eyes sting. The pottage looks back at you. One of the turnips sinks slowly like even it's tired of being here. Your father taps the table. Reminds you again it's daylight. Time doesn't wait. You eat another spoonful. It goes down like a lump of wet stone. In the distance, the church bell tolls. Slow, measured, like it's summoning the village one groan at a time. You try the bread again. Your teeth throb. They're tired too. Your mother places another mug of beer on the table. No words. Just a glance. It's not judgment. Just exhaustion. You sip. It's sour again, but better than the river. Your eyes wander. The child in the corner is clutching the wool blanket. Their eyes are sunken, their bowl already scraped to the bottom. They don't complain, just cough again, dry, sharp, like paper tearing the air. Your father stands, grabs his hoe, nods toward the door. You finish your bread, what's left of it. Crumbs cling to your teeth like they don't want to leave either. The fire pops again, more smoke. You try not to blink, it burns anyway. You take the last spoon of pottage. It's cold now. Your stomach growls in protest. Still hungry, still ignored. Footsteps. Your father, back and forth on the dirt floor, reminding you without words. You set the bowl down. It's still greasy, still empty, still not enough. Your mother stirs the pot again. The same rhythm, same scraping sound, like a sad lullaby with no words. Your father opens the door. Light spills in. You blink. You bite one last chunk of bread. More pain. Your mouth says no, but you swallow anyway. Your mother mutters again. Tells you to wash the bowl. The stream won't clean it. But it's something to do. You look at the child again. Still wrapped in the same thin blanket. Still waiting. You pick up your bowl. The dried stew clings to your fingers. Sticky, unwanted, like shame you can't rinse off. The fire is quieter now. Even it sounds tired. Your father steps out. The slap of his feet on the dirt floor is the drumbeat of another day. You finish your beer. Sour, bitter, but it's what there is. You glance around the hut. Your mother, still stirring, still praying maybe, or just talking to no one. The stew still smells burnt, still mixed with smoke. You breathe through your mouth. It doesn't help. The child coughs again. Sharp, final, like a closing bell. You set your bowl down. The day has begun. Wind slips through the cracks in the wall. Cold again. Your sweater doesn't care. You look at the bowl. It still has streaks of pottage inside, like a reminder that there's never quite enough. Your father calls from the door. His voice is low, steady. The Lord doesn't like slow workers. You stand. Your stomach feels full, but not in a good way. More like you swallowed a stone. And it's time now. Time to wrap yourself in rough clothes and pretend they keep out the cold. You stand from the table. Your stomach still groans from the flavorless stew, but there's no time to argue with hunger. You walk to the corner of the hut where your sweater waits. The same one, always the same. You pull it over your head. The wool drags across your skin like sandpaper on old wood. It makes you shiver. The smell hits right away. Sweat, dirt, the kind of smell clothes get when they're forgotten in the wash for a week. Your sister, weaving by the wall, chuckles, says the lice love you more than anyone she knows. She's not wrong. There's no underlayer, just one worn scrap of cloth clinging to you, barely doing anything against the morning cold. You rub your shoulders. The wool bites your skin like someone pulled rope across your back, slowly. The fire pops again, but its warmth doesn't reach the itch. You breathe in. The smell of the sweater fills your nose. It hasn't been clean in months, maybe ever. You bend down, pick up your shoes. Leather, cracked and damp. They feel like cold, wet socks. You slide your feet in, they don't fit. They never did. Your sister glances over again, tells you to tie the laces, even though you both know the laces are half gone, frayed, hanging on out of habit. You scratch your arm, a louse bite, red, angry, sharp like a pin. Your little sibling coughs from the corner. It slices the air, thin but sharp. You look over. The child's eyes are hollow, but there's no time to comfort them. The sweater rubs your neck, stings, like someone dragging fingernails lightly down your spine. You tug at it, try to adjust, but each movement just shifts the itch to a new place, as if something under the sweater is crawling, still awake. You walk to your sister's pile of fabric, grab another scrap. It's rough and smells like gym clothes left in a bag too long. She laughs again, says lice don't have favorites. But you're probably close. You nod, scratch your back. It's already raw. You can feel the sting spreading. The church bell rings, slow, dragging, like a reminder the fields are waiting. The Lord is waiting. You tie the laces, or what's left of them. One snaps. You sigh. The wool itches harder on your shoulder, like punishment for wearing clothes. You rub your neck, try to press down the sting, but the smell of the sweater stays with you like an uninvited friend who refuses to leave. From the stove, your mother calls out, tells you to take the hoe and head out before your father gets angry. You nod, step across the dirt floor. The sweater feels heavier now, like wearing a small sack of grain. Your sister keeps weaving. The loom ticks and clicks like a sad little clock that no one winds. You scratch your arm again. Another bite. Still fresh. They never really leave. You glance down at your shoes. There's a new hole near the toe. Mud will find it. It always does. Your sibling coughs again. You pause, but your mother barks at you, not to be late. The sweater drags across your back. It scratches like tiny thorns sewn into every thread. You want to take it off, but there's nothing else to wear. You pull it down again. Try to make peace with the itch. Your skin's already bright red. The smell of sweat and smoke hangs in the air. You breathe slower. It doesn't help. At the door, your father stands with the hoe. His eyes don't say much, but they tell you to move. You scratch again. It feels like the lice are forming a parade. Wind slips through the cracks in the hut, cold and sharp. The sweater does almost nothing. You slide your feet into your shoes. The stiff leather scrapes your heels like gravel in your socks. Your sister smirks, says you look like a walking sack. You sigh, scratch your neck. You already know this itch will be with you all day. You step toward the door. The wool scrapes your side again. Each step is a small punishment. Your mother mumbles behind you. Something about dropping straw on the floor, as if the floor isn't already a mess. The bell rings again. Steady, insistent, you rub your hands together. The wool has left a burn, like a quiet scar you'll carry. You look around the hut. Your sibling still curled in the corner, eyes asking you to stay. You can't. Your father calls again. His voice, low, even, final. The sweater rubs your shoulder once more, like it's reminding you don't get to leave it behind. You push the door open, step out, try not to smile. Your teeth ache too much for that. You stand by the door. The coarse wool itches your skin, but the pain in your jaw quickly outranks it. Your teeth, yellow, chipped, soft in places, ache with a steady pulse. Every bite of bread feels like someone jabbing your gums with a dull nail. There's no toothbrush, no paste, just a mug of thin beer on the table, sour as old dishwater. You take a sip. It doesn't clean anything. It only adds the smell of swamp to your breath. You press your fingers to your jaw. A molar shifts slightly, like a loose pebble in mud. The smell rises from your mouth, thick, rotten, like you just chewed on last week's stew. The fire cracks in the hearth, but its warmth does nothing for your face. You glance around. Your mother is stirring the pot again, giving you that look. The one that means don't dawdle. The old man from next door walks in, asks to borrow a hoe. You try to greet him, just a simple hello. He flinches, turns away fast. You lower your head. The shame is familiar, like someone slapping you gently but often. Your tooth throbs again. A reminder, smiling is a risk. You swish beer in your mouth. The sour burn hits your gums like rubbing salt into an open scrape. Your sister chuckles from her corner, says your breath could scare off the goat. You nod, say nothing. Talking only makes it worse. The sweater scratches your neck, but the pain in your mouth is louder, like a small fire that refuses to go out. You press your jaw again. The cavity is deep. You imagine it as a little black hole, sucking in anything good. The church bell rings in the distance, slow, dragging, calling you to the field, but all you want is to sit still. You take another sip, try to rinse your mouth. The beer slides down your throat, cold and bitter, like rainwater from a rusted bucket. Your mother watches, tells you not to fall behind. Your father's already out there. You nod. The pain spikes again. You wince. It feels like someone tapped your jaw with a spoon. You look down at the mug, just a few cloudy drops left. They mock the idea of freshness. Your little sibling coughs again, weak, dry, like a broken reed. Your tooth pulses, steady as a drumbeat. You press your tongue against it. A mistake. It's sharp and angry. Outside, an old woman calls to your mother, saying something about the weather. You walk over to greet her. She crinkles her nose, covers her mouth. You nod again, lower this time, scratch your neck, as if that hides anything. The beer taste still lingers, layered over rot, like fog you can't blow away. You turn back to the fire. Maybe the heat will help. It doesn't. The smoke stings your eyes. You cough. Your tooth screams in reply, each cough like a hammer on your gum. Your father calls from outside, says to bring the hoe. Now you nod, take another mouthful of beer. It only makes the smell worse, like a pond drying out. Your sister keeps weaving. The loom clacks, a sad rhythm, unconcerned. You look at her. She shakes her head, still smiling. You breathe slow, smoke and beer together now in the back of your throat. The tooth throbs again, as if punishing you just for thinking about smiling. You walk to the corner, pick up the hoe. The handle is rough, splinters catching on your palm. The old man returns. You try to say goodbye. He leaves quicker than he came. Your tooth throbs again. You want to stop speaking forever. Your mother mumbles something, tells you not to drop straw on the floor. The floor's already filthy. You breathe in. The morning chill hits your gums. They ache even more. The church bell rings again. You rinse your mouth one last time. Salt, sour, nothing more. You stand before the door, ready to go, but the pain halts you. Your breath hangs in the air, thick and sour, like fog no one asked for. Your father calls again, same voice, same tone, no room for excuses. You push open the plank. The field is waiting, and your back will soon remember what pain really means. You step out of the hut. The hoe rests heavy on your shoulder. Each step makes the rough wool of your sweater rub your skin like sandpaper. The Lord's field stretches ahead, mud-brown, wet, endless. It looks like someone spilled a kitchen floor into a swamp after a storm. You swing the hoe, sweat falls to the dirt. It catches the light like it's proud of itself. Somewhere nearby, a rusted sickle scrapes dry grass. The overseer's voice cuts through the air, low, sharp, a reminder that slowness is a sin. Your back creaks. It sounds like an old door being pushed open by wind. Each swing pulls another complaint from your spine. Mud sucks at your boots, cold, sticky. Your feet hate you. The overseer yells again, louder this time, like your body doesn't already know it's too slow. You hunch lower, swing harder. Sweat stings your eyes, the kind that never drips, just lingers and burns. You hear your sister's voice from far off, calling you home to weave. But this field doesn't allow for detours, only digging. The smell of wet earth rises up, mixes with the salt of your skin. It's like someone stuffed a wet sweater in a bag and left it there for days. You swing again. Your back stabs you, a needle in the spine. The grass crunches beneath your feet, but there's no melody to it. The sun climbs. Its light blinds you for a moment, but it doesn't warm anything. Not your hands, not your bones. You wipe your forehead. The sweat clings to your fingers like glue. The overseer rides by on his horse. He looks at you, not angry, just disappointed, as if you haven't earned your breakfast. You bend down, swing the hoe again. Your back cracks, it threatens to fold in half. Someone else's sickle rings out, steady as a second heartbeat. You look up. Other workers bend and swing, silent as ghosts. The smell of mud and grass presses down on you. You breathe slower. Even the air feels like work. Your shoulders ache, like carrying a sack of rocks that shifts every time you move. You think of the little one at home, waiting for leftover stew. But thoughts like that don't belong here. Only the field does. The overseer shouts again. It's a drumbeat now, not music, just pressure. You wipe your face. Sweat runs down your back, into your sweater, where it stings. You're not just a field worker. You weave, you cook, you raise children, you don't rest. Your sister once said, the men work the field. You work everything else. You swing the hoe. Mud splashes your legs. It's cold. It sticks, like it wants to pull you under. The grass crunches again, soft, tired. Even it sounds done. The sun gets higher. Still no warmth, just glare. Sweat runs down your neck. Your sweater soaks it in. It itches like something's biting you. The overseer passes again, snorts. As if your effort is always lacking, you swing again. Your back pulses. Another warning. The church bell rings, slow, measured, just a reminder that this day has barely begun. Your grip weakens. The hoe feels heavier now, like holding a pole carved from regret. Mud cakes your shoes, clinging like it knows how tired you are. Someone coughs nearby, weak, sharp. It slices the silence like a dull knife. You wipe your forehead again. More sweat. Same result. Your sister's voice returns, calling about water for dinner. You nod. No one sees. You swing again. Your back groans. Louder this time. The sun climbs higher, still cold inside your bones. Mud splatters your sweater. You shiver. It finds its way through. The overseer shouts, his voice steady. A threat with no edge because it doesn't need one. You bend lower. Your back sparks again. This time deeper. Sickles ring in the background, a sad chorus that never ends. You glance at your hands. The skin is dry, cracked, like old wood worn down by years. The smell of mud and sweat wraps around you. You breathe through your mouth. The air tastes like earth. You swing the hoe again. Your back cracks. You wonder how close it is to breaking. You think of home, of weaving, of soup and children and smoke. But this field doesn't care. The overseer shouts again. Same beat, same tempo. Work. Sweat drips into your eyes. You blink. Hard. Everything blurs. Your arms ache. Your shoulders burn, like you're carrying more than just the tool. The church bell rings again, a reminder that rest is a lie. You wipe your face. Again, the sting only deepens. Your sister's voice calls again, faint, hoarse, tells you not to fall behind. You nod. Your back doesn't agree. It tightens, warns you that it won't last forever. The seasons wait for no one, and neither does this field. You step back into the hut after a long day in the field. Winter clings to your skin. Your breath turns white, a quiet fog that rises and disappears. Your fingers feel like dry twigs, too stiff to hold a wooden bowl. You sit by the fire. It hisses softly, but the damp wood gives more smoke than warmth. Your little sibling curls into your side, shivering like you might be a source of heat. But the cold seeps in too deep. It doesn't leave. In winter, the hut doesn't trap heat, it leaks it. The wind squeezes through the slats and sings its old sad song. You wrap yourself in a wool blanket, heavy, itchy. It feels like hugging a wet sack. Your mother stirs the pot again, her voice steady as ever, mumbling that the firewood disappears faster than hope. You rub your hands. The skin cracks like old paper torn down the middle. A cough breaks the silence, small, sharp. Your sibling again. You pull them closer, but your arms are as cold as theirs. Your breath turns to mist again, shimmering near the dull firelight. The cold presses in, like a guest who never leaves and never takes off their coat. Then comes summer. The sun scorches your back through the same wool sweater. It feels like standing next to an oven that never closes. Sweat runs down your spine, mixes with dust, turns your skin red, like it's been scrubbed too hard. The old woman next door mutters about the flies. They swarm around your face like a small, loud cloud that likes you too much. You wipe your forehead. The sweat sticks to your hand like syrup poured over a table. In the field, the heat makes your vision blur, like looking through a dirty window. Sickles scrape through dry grass, flies buzz close to your ears, and your shirt sticks to your back like 1,000 little teeth. You swing the hoe. Your shoulders protest, like they're carrying a sack of rocks instead of fabric. The old man passing by sighs, says summer drains the whole village, but the field doesn't stop, and neither can you. You nod, sweat falls to the soil. It sparkles for a second, then vanishes. The smell of dust and salt climbs into your nose. You breathe through your mouth. It doesn't help. You wipe your face again. The dirt stays. It always stays. In winter, you sit by the fire, fingers too stiff to move. You rub them. They don't soften. The wind whistles through the wall. It reminds you there's no safe place. Your sibling coughs again. You pull them closer. But warmth is something you don't have enough to share. The blanket itches. The cold stays. In summer, you stand in the field. Your shoulders burn. You want to take the sweater off, but you can't. The flies follow. Always. The old woman mutters again. She says there are more flies than prayers left in town. You wipe your sweat. The sting in your skin stays. It always does. The church bell rings. Slow. Patient. The weather isn't merciful. In winter, you rub your fingers. They feel like ice cream sticks left in the freezer too long. In summer, your sweater turns to a second skin. Itchy. Soaked. Buzzing with imaginary bugs. You breathe slowly. Whether it's wood smoke or dust, you end up coughing. In winter, your mother tells you to stoke the fire. You both know it won't burn for long. You do it anyway. Your breath turns to mist again. It shines for a moment, then vanishes. Your sibling clings tighter, still cold. So are you. You rub your hands again. The cracks don't go away. In summer, you swing the hoe again. Sweat slides into your eyes. You blink too much. Nothing gets clearer. The flies buzz louder. They're always part of the soundtrack. Your sweater clings harder, like thorns pressed against your skin. The old man mutters again. Says the heat has made everyone slower, but no one gets to rest. In winter, you sit by the fire. Hope it helps. It doesn't. Just makes you cough again. The wind sings through the wall. It's never leaving. You wrap the blanket tighter. It scratches. You do it anyway. Your sibling coughs again. The sound slices the room in half. In summer, you dream of shade, but there's none. Not in the field. Sweat runs down your back. Soaks the wool. You feel it sting. Again. The old woman mutters that the flies are driving her mad. You nod. She might be right. You wipe your forehead. Dust sticks to your skin, like glue you never asked for. The church bell rings again. Same tone, same warning. In winter, your fingers don't bend. In summer, your skin crawls. You breathe slowly. Nobody escapes the weather. It doesn't matter which kind. You walk back into the hut. Winter makes you shiver. Summer makes you wilt. But the work never ends. Your mother calls from the stove, asks you to fetch water. Her voice steady, always steady. Your sibling coughs again, the sound small but sharp enough to remind you. You're not the only one suffering. You nod. You know what waits outside. The river. Quiet. Still. And just as cruel. You step out of the hut. Your throat is dry, cracked and hollow from a long day in the fields. The river is in front of you. and it makes you flinch. The water is cloudy. Yellow foam clings to the edges. Bits of trash float by like warnings. It smells like pond sludge left to rot in the sun. Your thirst presses down like a stone resting on your chest. So you turn back. You reach for the only thing within reach, a mug of thin, sour beer. Inside, your mother is trying to hush the youngest. They're crying for water. She gives them beer instead. Her eyes are tired, the kind of tired that knows things won't improve. You take a sip. The sourness hits your tongue, sharp and dull at the same time, like drinking leftover dishwater. It doesn't help, just coats your breath in something worse. The stench from the river creeps in anyway, rotten, like garbage left behind a warm kitchen. You hear the water trickle, software, and the sound of crows pecking at something floating near the edge. You stare at the river. It stares back. A slick mirror, too dirty to reflect anything real. Bathing is rare. Most people here believe water opens your skin, lets sickness in. You press your hand to your neck. The dirt, the sweat, it's all stuck there. It always is. Your mother mumbles again. Bathing makes fevers worse, she says. You nod. Sip again. The thirst stays. It always does. The child cries louder now, asks for clean water. There isn't any. You look at them, those tired eyes, like they're asking for something no one has. Your beer smells sour, feels like a joke pretending to be a drink. You take another sip. It slides down, cold, unhelpful. You walk closer to the river, not to drink, just to look, like maybe looking helps. The water glistens faintly in the dull light, but it tells you nothing, just confirms what you already knew. It isn't safe. Flies buzz nearby. They hum like a tired lullaby. The smell grows stronger. You turn away, instinctively, like avoiding a stranger who knows your name. The old woman from next door walks past. She sees you by the river, shakes her head. You nod. She moves on, murmurs something about how the river gets worse every year. You scratch your neck. Dust is layered on you now, like a second shirt you can't take off. You sip the beer again. It makes you wince, but it's all you have. The church bell rings in the distance. Its rhythm is slow, patient, as if reminding you. The day isn't done. You look at the cup. Only a few cloudy drops remain. Even they feel sarcastic. Your mother calls from inside, tells you to rinse the bowls. You both know the ditch water is no better than the river. You nod. But your thirst holds you still, like something gripping your ankles. You step back into the hut. The little one is crying again, wrapped in their blanket. Still thirsty, still small. Your mother offers more beer. Her voice soft like a prayer. No one answers. The stew burns slightly in the pot. Its bitter scent mixes with the beer. You breathe in slowly. It doesn't help. The child coughs again, dry and sharp, like tearing paper. You sip again. The bitterness grows, like punishment for wanting relief. You walk to the corner, grab a different mug. Maybe someone left a drop. It's dry, just the smell remains. A memory, sour and stubborn. Your sister chuckles from her weaving, says thirst is a neighbor to everyone. You nod, press your hand to your neck. Your skin cracks, no surprise. The wind slips through the boards, cold. You shiver in your thin sweater. You glance out at the river. Still murky, still slow, still sick. The stench drifts in, gentle but clear. Water is not your friend. You sip again. Your tongue goes numb, still thirsty. The old man from next door walks in, asks for the hoe. You answer. He grimaces. Not at your words, but at your breath. You lower your head. Shame settles over you like a familiar coat. Your mother hushes the child. Her voice is even like a hymn with no faith behind it. She tells them beer helps. It doesn't. You press your hand to your arm. The dust still clings. It always does. The church bell rings again. Steady, unconcerned. You look down at the empty cup. You already know the thirst will follow you all day. The child coughs again, still wrapped in that too thin blanket, still waiting, still hoping. You nod. There's nothing to give, nothing safe, nothing clean. And if thirst turns into fever, you know what the village has left. Remedies worse than the illness. You lie on the straw mattress. Your body shivers. The fever burns from the inside, like someone dropped you into a frozen lake and then lit your bones on fire. Your mother sits beside you. Her voice is steady. A quiet prayer she's said too many times. But the heat inside you doesn't listen. It never does. The village barber, also the village doctor, walks in. He carries a small jar, inside leeches, black, shiny, wiggling like wet stones that are too alive. Your heart pounds. You already know. Sometimes the cure is worse than the thing it's supposed to fix. He places a leech on your arm. It sticks immediately, cold and slimy. Like a wet sock you forgot to hang. Blood seeps around it, a thin red bloom that stains your skin. From the other side of the hut, someone groans. The sound is sharp, like a dull knife slicing air. The doctor shakes his head, says you need another bleeding. As if your blood is the root of all wrong things, you grit your teeth. The leech feeds, and it feels like your strength is being drawn out drop by drop. The smell of blood mixes with bitter herbs, like burnt coffee that went bad years ago. From nearby, a dull scraping sound, metal against skin. It makes your stomach turn. It sounds like nails on a blackboard, if the blackboard were made of people. You pray. It doesn't help. The fever stays, a small fire in your bones that no one can put out. The leech is removed. It leaves a swollen red ring, a mark of effort with no results. You rub your arm. The skin burns. Too many scrapes. No relief. Your mother takes your hand. Hers is cold. Hope doesn't pass through cold hands. The groans beside you grow faint. You shiver harder. You hope it's not the kind of quiet that means someone gave up. The doctor hands you a cup of herbal brew. Dark, bitter. It smells like dried leaves and expired cough syrup. You sip. Your tongue goes numb. It tastes like tree bark, soaked in regret. The fire crackles, but none of its warmth reaches your side of the room. The drink slides down into your stomach. It sits there, heavy and useless, like swallowing a stone for comfort. You glance around the hut. Straw, dirt, and dust coat everything. This is where you'd die if you needed real surgery. The doctor sharpens his knife. The sound is too loud, too close, like someone knocking on your rib cage. You close your eyes, try to forget the fever, but it smolders on, a slow ember with no intention of leaving. Your mother prays again. Same tone, same rhythm, a lullaby for no one. Another leech is placed, another cold shock, another stream of blood, thin, unwanted. The groans next to you return. You want to cover your ears, but your arms don't work like that today. The doctor mutters something about your blood being bad, like your body is just a broken thing to be drained and fixed with pain. You rub your arm again. The sting from the bite burns, like someone rubbed salt into a wound that never asked to be opened. The smell of blood mixes with stale hut air, like something died in the pantry and was too polite to tell anyone. You hear another cough, thin and sharp, like a thread snapping. You sip more of the herbal mix. It smells like pesticide, tastes worse. Your stomach protests. The medicine slides down anyway, heavier than before. Your mother's hand tightens around yours. Her prayers grow louder, as if louder words could chase the fever out. You close your eyes, but the heat inside doesn't move. It waits. The church bell rings outside, slow, like everything else. The doctor sharpens the knife again. The sound drills into your ears. You touch your arm, still bleeding, still red. The fever clouds your sight. Everything looks smeared, like someone painted the world with a dirty brush. Your mother is still praying, still steady, still unanswered. The doctor says you need rest, but more bleeding too, always more. You nod, even though each leech feels like it's stealing something important. The taste of herbs clings to your mouth, a memory that refuses to go. You sink back into the straw. It pokes your back, like punishment for being sick in the first place. The groans beside you stop. You open your eyes, just in case. The doctor sets down the jar. His face is quiet, not unkind, just finished. You rub your arm again. The sting is familiar, expected. Your fever doesn't care. It keeps burning. You look at your mother. Her eyes are tired. She's still praying, but the miracle hasn't shown up. The fire pops, once, then goes quiet. The smell of blood and herbs stays in the air, heavy like something watching you. You close your eyes again. You know what comes next. Soup. If you make it that far. You sit at the rough wooden table. Your stomach growls again. It's been hours since the fever broke, but the greyish slab of meat hanging from the ceiling beam makes you hesitate. It's dotted with fly tracks. The smell, like trash left too long behind the house, makes your eyes narrow, but hunger doesn't care. You bite in. It's rubbery, slimy, like chewing an old leather strap soaked in something that shouldn't be there. Your mother hushes your younger sibling. Her voice flat tells him to eat the porridge, because there's no other choice. The bowl in front of you, thick, cloudy pottage. Floating in it, grey roots, maybe turnip, soft as mud, tasting about the same. You take a spoonful. The smell hits first, burnt, like the bottom of a pot forgotten for days. Your sibling pushes his bowl away, wrinkles his nose, but your mother's voice cuts through, sharp as frost. Eat or go hungry. You swallow. The porridge slides down, heavy, like a stone that does nothing except sit there. Beside it, a barley loaf, rock hard, could have mold, could have worse. You take a bite. Pain shoots through your teeth, like biting into a nutshell by mistake. You wince. The fire crackles, but its warmth doesn't reach you. Not through the hunger. You chew slowly. The bread crumbles in your mouth, dry and gritty, like field dust sticking to your tongue. You glance at the meat again. A fly crawls across, buzzing like a broken radio. Still you bite again. The sour taste numbs your tongue, like gnawing on something that died a long time ago. Your mother watches, tired eyes. Meat, she seems to say, is a luxury, even if it stinks. You swallow. It sticks in your throat, a warning disguised as food. A cough breaks the silence. Your little sibling, curled in the corner, thin and brittle. You take another spoon of porridge. The turnip mush has no flavour, just the vague echo of something that once grew. Your mother mumbles, no spices again. Salt is for the rich. You nod. Swallow again. Your stomach growls, unimpressed. You bite the bread. Pain again, like someone poking your gums with a needle. The smell of dry crust, stale wood, nothing else. Your sister looks over from her weaving, chuckles, says the bread is scarier than the doctor. You chew. The crumbs stick to your teeth, tiny punishments for being hungry. The meat still hangs there, still grey, still buzzing with flies, a small, relentless cloud. You bite once more. It tastes worse this time, like regret. But hunger overrules disgust. The fire pops. Salt smoke fills the air. You cough. Again. Another small penalty. Your mother snaps at your sibling, tells him to eat. Her voice is thin, sharp, no room for argument. You spoon the last bit of porridge. It tastes like rainwater collected in a rusted barrel. Your sibling refuses again, shakes his head. Your mother just sighs, says hunger is the house's only lesson now. You bite the last of the bread. Your teeth complain. Again, as if you're gnawing stone. Your sister smirks, says you chew like the bread might fight back. She might be right. You try to swallow. Your stomach growls louder, like it's protesting the nothing you gave it. You look at the empty bowl. Only cloudy residue remains. A reminder of how little there was to begin with. The fire crackles. Salt smoke burns your throat. You cough again, still hungry. Your mother calls your sibling to take the bowl to the ditch. The ditch water isn't clean, but neither is the bowl. You stand, your stomach still heavy but not full. Never full. The church bell rings in the distance. Slow, even, like the heartbeat of a place that forgot how to hope. You look up at the meat beam again. A fly circles, then lands, mocking you. You bite one more piece. It tastes like something long past edible, but you eat it anyway. Your mother rises, bowl in hand, heads to the ditch. You both know it's filthy. You breathe in. Smoke and rot, now part of you. Your sibling coughs again. You look at him, eyes tired. More tired than any child should be. You scoop the last of the porridge stuck to your mother's bowl, offer it. He shakes his head. Your mother mutters, says hunger is everyone's teacher. You eat the final piece of meat. Rubbery, awful. Swallow it anyway. Another bite of bread. Your teeth protest. Again, like someone tapping on your skull from the inside. Crumbs cling to your tongue, dry as the dirt in your field. Your sister laughs softly, says the bread might just kill you. You chew, slowly, because what else can you do? You look at the empty bowl again. Just the dregs, the fire crackles, smoke clings, like a shadow you can't shake. Your mother tells your sibling to take the bowl. Ditch water or not, you stand, stomach heavy but never satisfied. The church bell rings again, even sad, as if calling you to pray for things you know won't come. You look up. The meat still hangs. The flies are still there. Your mother mumbles, tells you to go pray, as if God can fix hunger. You nod, knowing he's not the only one watching. You step out of the hut. The church bell tolls, long and slow, like a rope pulling you out of a brief dream about a full meal. The stone floor is freezing beneath your knees, like kneeling on a tray of ice cubes. Your body shivers as you lower yourself down. You whisper the prayer, barely louder than the sound of your stomach growling. But no one listens to either. Agnes, your neighbor, is beside you. She leans toward your mother, whispers that you got a word wrong. Her voice soft but sharp like a kitchen knife. The incense burns, harsh and smoky, like wood that never caught fire properly. Missing a prayer is a sin, the priest reminds from the pulpit. His voice even, like reading a sentence. You bow deeper, clasp your hands tighter. Your fingers are stiff with cold. Your stomach complains again, a small drumbeat under the hymns, but the prayers keep coming, like chores, unstoppable. A faint light filters through the stained glass window. It falls across the stone. Your shadow shivers under it. The village chants in unison, a hymn without melody, just breath and duty. You try to keep up. Another wrong word. Agnes glances sideways, like a judge. You swallow dry. It feels like your tongue is coated in dirt. But you keep going. You have to. The priest speaks again. Tithes are not optional, he says. His voice gentle, but it lands like a threat. You think of the barley sack at home. 1/10 of it will go to the church. Cold stone seeps through your thin wool sweater. Your knees ache, like kneeling on gravel. Agnes mutters again, soft but clear, like she wants the priest to hear. The bell rings once more, slow, deliberate, like the heartbeat of the village. You squeeze your hands together, trying to remember the next line, but hunger is louder than memory. The smell of burnt incense clings to your sweater. Damp wool and smoke like fog pressed tight around your skin. You keep whispering software, almost afraid Agnes will accuse you again. The priest walks past. His robe brushes the stone like a ghost passing. You lower your head. You feel his eyes glide over you as if counting your syllables. The stone floor bites at your feet, like standing barefoot in snow. You pray, but your thoughts drift. To the hard bread this morning. Luxury. Agnes speaks again. To another woman this time. Her voice is calm, but sounds like a list of crimes. You mumble the prayer faster. Another wrong word. You stop. Your heart races. Doubt can lead to fire. You know that. Everyone does. The stone keeps stealing your warmth. You shiver, like you've been tossed into cold water. The village keeps chanting, a slow-moving river of noise. You try to stay afloat, but your voice weakens, like a candle flickering, running out of wax. The incense stings your throat. You cough once, a small punishment, quiet but felt. You press your hands together again, your fingers stiff, like brittle twigs. The priest lifts his hand. The room stands, your knees creak, stone on bone. You rise slowly. Your wool sweater scrapes against your back, rough, like sandpaper. Agnes glances at you, one last time. A look like frost tells you she's not done watching. You bow your head, say the final line. Your stomach growls, reminding you this wasn't a meal. The bell tolls again, a signal. Back to work, back to hunger. You step out of the pew. The cold floor clings to your soles, like a memory that refuses to melt. Your mother mutters beside you, flat voice, says to be careful around Agnes. She forgets nothing. You nod. The hunger is still there, a pit that never fills. You glance around. The village bows its head, all of them, afraid of the priest's eyes, afraid of being seen. The smoke still sticks to your clothes, a kind of glue you can't scrub off. The prayers fade, but the pressure doesn't. It lingers, a stone you carry. You walk to the door. You know this place isn't just watched by God. For women like you, everyone is watching, always. You step out of the church. The bells are still ringing in your skull, but heavy work is waiting, just like it is for the men in the fields. Your hands are cracked from scrubbing cloth by the stream, raw like skin rubbed too long with sandpaper. They sting every time they touch water. The smell of breast milk and sweat clings to your body, like damp laundry forgotten in a wooden tub. But you bow your head and keep going. Your husband stands nearby, watching. His eyes cold, like he's grading each movement. The village elder, white-haired and always watching, points from a distance. She whispers that your slowness might be a sign of something unholy. You hear her. Your heart jumps, but you don't look up. Her stare is a blade. You've given birth before. You know what it's like. Pain that tears through your body, and the quiet fear that you might not survive. You rub your hands. The cracks burn. Every day is a tightrope, and you've been walking it barefoot. From your sister's hut, you hear the weaving loom clack. Its rhythm is tired, like a lullaby with no comfort. You scrub harder. The stream water is ice on your fingers. Your fingertips go numb, like dead twigs. The scent of sweat, milk, and wet earth wraps around you, like a fog made just for women. You stay bent over, scrubbing, even though your husband still watches, like he's waiting for you to make a mistake. You think of your baby, crying for milk back home. But the work doesn't stop. The old woman walks past, voice flat. She says women like you are easy targets for spirits. You say nothing, but grip the cloth tighter. Your hand stings, like someone rubbed salt into an open cut. The milk seeps through your shirt, warm, a sign of exhaustion you can't hide. The baby's cry echoes from the hut. Thin, it slices the air. You scrub faster. The cloth bites your hands. Your skin goes red, like it's been kissed by fire. Your husband grunts, says you're too slow, like it's on purpose. You lower your head. A drop of sweat falls into the stream. It sparkles for a second, then vanishes. You remember the birth, the blood, the silence, how close it felt to dying. The old woman once whispered, you were too fragile to escape the witches. Your sweat turns salty, mixes with milk, an invisible layer you carry, like a second skin. You scrub. The cracks in your hands scream. It feels like punishment just for being here. The loom clacks again, a reminder that work doesn't stop for women. You keep scrubbing. The stream soaks through your sleeves. Your spine tightens, like standing barefoot in snow. Your husband turns away, but the old woman's eyes don't, still searching your face for proof of the devil. You bend lower, hands burning, but you don't stop. You think about the stories, the ones where women were burned just because someone said something. The scent of milk and sweat rises again, heavy, like a memory you can't rinse away. The baby cries louder. You want to run, but the pile of cloth isn't finished. It's a mountain you can't ignore. You scrub. Your hands flake like old paper, but the work must go on. Your husband calls from a distance, tells you to bring the cloth before nightfall. You nod, even though your hands feel like they've been licked by fire. The old woman whispers to another, soft voice, sharp words. She's writing your sins out loud. The smell of milk and sweat clings. You breathe slower. It's all you can do. The stream trickles nearby, like a sad song with no tune. The baby cries again. The sound cuts. You scrub. The cloth tears at your skin. You flinch, but stay bent. Your husband watches, like he's reading your silence. You scrub. Sweat drips, a quiet record of everything you've endured. You remember the second birth, the knife-like pain, and the old woman's warnings about spirits that come for weak women. The milk soaks through again, a quiet message that you don't get to stop. The loom clicks in the distance. Its rhythm is the sound of every woman in the village, working endlessly. You scrub, hands burning. You've crossed the line before. You know how close fire always feels. The church bell rings in the distance, slow, calling the village to evening prayer. You stand. Your hands ache. It feels like carrying a whole day on your shoulders. The old woman glances your way one last time, her stare cold. It says she's still watching. You bow your head. You know it already. Violence doesn't always have a name, but for women like you, it's always nearby. You step out of the hut, your heart races. A whip cracks somewhere at the edge of the village, sharp, loud, like a drumbeat that splits the air. The muddy road stretches ahead. Every step you take feels deliberate, like you're trying not to trigger a blade hanging above your head. The faint smell of dried blood lingers in the wind, like trash that sat too long behind the house. You lower your gaze instinctively. In the distance, cheers echo from the square. Someone's being hanged again. Violence. It's the village's version of fresh air. You cross the stream. Another crack of the whip, dry and brittle, like a stick snapping in cold wind. The crowd laughs, their voices steady, like they've seen this scene before and just want to get to the good part. You grip the hoe tighter. Your hand trembles slightly, afraid someone might think you're staring too long, too curious. The air is thick with damp earth and old blood. It clings, makes you breathe slower, like you're trying not to inhale something poisonous. Children are yelling, throwing rocks at the man tied up in the square. It sounds like a horror song without lyrics. You bow your head, walk faster. Mud clings to your worn boots, cold, wet, like stepping into a sock left in the washer overnight. Punishments here come with no warning. Hands cut off, bodies burned. Entertainment mostly, like laws carved in stone, and just as cruel. You hold the hoe tighter. Your heartbeat spikes, as if someone just called your name from the crowd. You pause near a fence. The noise grows. They're cheering again. The thief is writhing now. Ropes pulled tight. The smell of blood grows stronger, familiar, unforgettable. You swallow. Your throat is dry. An old woman passes. She glances at you. Her stare is sharp, like she's collecting evidence for the priest. You lower your head. You know how quickly things go wrong, how easily someone becomes the show. The whip cracks again. Same rhythm, always there, always waiting. You keep walking. The coarse wool of your sweater rubs your skin, itchy, like someone lightly sanding your back. The crowd's laughter follows you, buzzing like a cloud you can't outrun. You grip the hoe. Your hand shakes as if someone might point at you next. You remember watching the fire, the black smoke curling upward, the smell of burning flesh sticking to the inside of your nose. The smell of dried blood never really leaves. You breathe through your mouth. It helps, a little. The children shout louder now. Their voices rise as if cheering for a twisted parade. You bow your head, step over the puddle. You feel like an animal being tracked. You don't look up. A farmer stands near the fence. He coughs, looks at you with tired eyes, like he knows what you're thinking but doesn't want to say it. You nod. He turns away, like even eye contact might be too risky. The air sticks to you, the blood, dirt, cold, like glue, invisible, heavy. You walk on. The hoe drags on your shoulder, heavier with each step. It carries all the fear this morning has to offer. The cheering fades, but the whip keeps going. A heartbeat, steady and cruel. You keep your head down. The mud is ice on your feet, like walking in a frozen bucket. No end in sight. Another old woman mumbles to her neighbor, her voice flat. She's talking about the man they just hanged. You hold your hoe tighter, worried that a stray word might turn into a death sentence. You pass through the alley. A noble's steward rides by on horseback. He scans you, every move, like he's looking for something off. The blood smell still hangs in the air, like a warning, like it wants you to know. This isn't over. Laughter from the square echoes again. Same rhythm, same sick familiarity. Your heart races, like you're hearing footsteps behind you. You lower your head, grip the hoe, try to vanish into the dirt. You remember the stories, the man who lost a hand for stealing bread, blood sprayed, the crowd roared. The smell of earth rises again, mixed with blood, a fog that doesn't lift. Another crack of the whip, sharp, dry, a reminder you are never safe. You walk faster. The mud grabs your boots like it wants to pull you under. An old man stands by the stream. He sees you. You nod. He turns away, like your eyes might bring him bad luck. Children scream somewhere far off, stones thudding against flesh. A soundtrack no one asked for. The blood smell lingers. You breathe slow, in through your teeth. You hold the hoe tighter. Your heart pounds like a hunted animal that knows it's already been spotted. The church bell tolls, low, distant, a sad kind of rhythm, telling you. The day goes on. You cross another patch of mud. The wool rubs your skin, itches, like a small punishment with each step. Blood and soil cling, they always do. You hold your hoe, knowing full well that death, like a quiet companion, is never far behind. You sit in the hut, holding your child, feverish, his body hot against your chest, like a small coal stove you can't put down. His soft crying cuts through the still air, like a dull knife working its way through silence. You rub his back. You know death could come at any moment. It came for your sister one cold night, without a sound. The smell of damp earth drifts in from the village graveyard, like something gently reminding you that death is never far away. The church bell tolls slowly, a death bell. Long, low notes, like a village heartbeat that forgot how to hope. You hold your son tighter. His sweat seeps through your sweater, sticky, like syrup spilled on the table and left too long. The priest said, when your sister died, that God calls the weak home. But that didn't make it any easier. You look into your child's eyes, tired, sunken. They're asking you to make him stay. The bitter smell of boiled herbs rises from the pot, like burnt coffee no one drank. You dip a rag, press it to his forehead. He still shivers. Like dry leaves in cold wind, he coughs, weak. A sound like a secret life is trying to tell you. You pray, but your stomach growls, a reminder that hunger is just another thief. Outside, your white-haired neighbor whispers to your mother. Her voice is flat, like she's narrating a tragedy that's already been written. You look down, your sweater scratches your skin, itching, like someone brushing you with sandpaper. The bell tolls again. Same song, nobody likes it. You rub your child's back. His heat burns into your hand, makes it shake, as if he's fading, right there in your arms. You think of the graveyard, new mounds of dirt. Grass hasn't grown back yet on the babies' graves. The smell drifts in again, damp soil mixed with bitter herbs. It clings like a fog just for your family. His crying fades, like a candle losing its last breath. Your heart thumps, tight and fast, like someone pressing down on your chest. You keep praying, but the fear of death is a quiet ghost that never leaves. The priest enters the hut. His robe brushes the floor. His voice is low and even. He says God is calling your child home. You take your son's hand. It feels light, dry, like a twig that could snap. The smell of incense escapes the priest's sleeve. Sharp, like half-burnt firewood smouldering too long. You bow your head, whisper prayers. Your stomach growls again, like a small complaint nobody will answer. Voices whisper louder outside. A song with no rhythm. It seeps through the walls. You wipe your child's forehead again. The herb rag is cold, like touching stone in the middle of winter. Your mother murmurs something behind you. Her voice doesn't rise. She says herbs didn't save your sister and probably won't save your child. You hold him tighter. His sweat sticks to your hands, feels like glue, and you shake just a little. You look toward the door. The graveyard glows faintly in the grey light. A field full of whispers no one wants to hear. The smell of soil and herbs fills the hut. It's thick, like a mist you can't walk through. The death bell rings again. Slow, like the day forgot to wake up. You rub your son's back. The heat hasn't left. Your hand trembles, afraid you're already losing him. You remember your sister's fever. The priest called it God's will. But you only felt absence. Your child's breathing grows faint, like a breeze about to stop. The herbs boil harder. Their scent bites your throat. You cough. Another small punishment for being helpless. You hold your child. You pray. But death is still there, sitting with you, waiting politely. The old neighbor stands by the door. Her stare is sharp, like she already knows how this ends. You look down again. The sweater still scratches. Another reminder. Your child coughs. The sound stabs you like a pin to the chest. The graveyard smell drifts back in. It always does. You wipe his forehead again. The rag is cold. He is not. Still burning, like a coal that won't go out. Your mother keeps mumbling prayers, her voice flat, like a song nobody really believes. Outside, the neighbors whisper. Their words hang in the air like damp laundry. You hold your child. His sweat soaks your hands. A fragile trace of something slipping. The priest raises his hand, makes the sign of the cross. His voice doesn't waver. It sounds like a sentence wrapped in silk. You grip your son's hand. He feels smaller, like a branch losing its leaves. The incense and earth mix, thick, smoky. It wraps around the hut. You breathe slower. You whisper your prayers. But your thoughts wander to all the new mounds of earth. Each one a sentence you've read before. You look at your child. His breath is soft, almost gone, like a small wind dying in the trees. The bell tolls again, steady, like the village heart still beating, but slower. The herbs keep boiling. Their scent is heavy now, like an old memory you never asked to keep. You hold him and note that in this medieval night light is rare, but it's what you'll need if you ever hope to keep walking. You sit by the campfire. The flames flicker across familiar faces, faces that have stared down frost, famine, and funerals, and now shimmer like soft candles in a world that never felt made for joy. The day has passed, another long one. You made it through the cold that found its way under the coarse wool. You made it past the hunger which curled in your belly long after the watery porridge was gone. You made it through the tolling of that same church bell, slow and long, announcing someone else didn't. Now you break off a piece of burnt bread. It's hard as a stone, but warm from the fire. You hand it to the child beside you. They nibble at it like it's a treasure. An old man cackles, something about a foolish horse flipping a hay cart, and the circle laughs deep and broken, as if laughter could keep death away. Maybe it can. The wood smoke bites your eyes. It smells like the hearth at home, the one you used to have. The bread crumbles in your mouth like dry sand, but you keep chewing because there's salt in it, salt and warmth, and that counts for something. The villagers scoot closer. Their laughter turns steady like a lullaby without words. You almost forget the long days, those endless hours of hauling, stitching, kneeling, praying. You almost forget the glances from neighbors that feel like accusations. The fire, small as it is, seeps into your fingers. A kind of warmth that doesn't ask for anything in return. You look around the circle. Faces lit like candles, brave little stars in a wind that never stops blowing. This life, it's been all sharp edges and empty pots. You've slept in straw that scratched you raw. You've opened the wrong door to the smell of the wrong bucket. You've heard the crack of a whip from the square and hoped it wasn't someone you knew. Some days you wondered which side of the line you'd wake up on, hope or despair. But here, by the fire, stories and bread are passed around like they're magic. The old man keeps going. This time, it's a farmer and a broken hoe and a dead wolf. The children laugh like they've never been cold. You offer a crust to the old woman next to you. She nods and smiles like you gave her gold. The smell of burnt bread and pine smoke lingers. It smells like survival. The wind whistles across the field. It stings your face, but the fire pulls you back in like arms that don't ask questions. The little one beside you giggles at the tale of a chicken stealing beer. The fire snaps and pops. It has a rhythm, not fast, not loud, but steady. You stretch your fingers toward the heat again. They don't ache as much now. You think about the days behind you, the days your hands cracked in cold water, the days someone called you a witch for looking up too long, the nights you held your feverish child, whispering to God and to anyone else who might be listening. The Middle Ages didn't ask for permission, they just kept taking. But tonight, people sit closer, share harder bread, and tell louder stories. You chew another bite. It tastes like ash and grit. It tastes like something worth remembering. Someone passes you a mug of weak ale. It's sour, it's barely beer, but it's warm from their hand. You drink. It goes down like rain, but rain from someone else's roof, which feels strangely kind. The laughter grows, no lyrics, no music, just breath and smoke and voices that say, "We're still here." The old man's voice fades, but no one moves. No one wants to leave the fire, not yet. You watch the flames dance, a little light in all this dark. A little symbol that says, not everything has been taken. The fire smells sharp. It stings your throat. But it's the kind of sting that tells you you're still breathing. You chew the last bit of crust. It crackles in your teeth. And it reminds you, even if tomorrow brings nothing good, you'll still have a reason to laugh, to share, to stay. You glance around, the villagers huddle closer like moths to a fragile warmth. The Middle Ages howl with cold, with disease, with everything that breaks you. But here there is bread, there is smoke, there is something like light. And even if it's small, even if it flickers, it's yours. You hear the last crackle of the fire, like a breath winding down. The child next to you is asleep, mouth open in half a smile. The night presses in, but you stay. Because in the dark, even a little flame can be enough. Enough to find your way forward. Enough to remember you're still alive.